Alright guys, BLM here, back, more Mirage, continuing on. Still doing this mission. I was also listening to a review of Mirage, so I'll probably just continue doing that.
Do you kill or do you not? Do you engage or do you ghost? Since you can just take keys off someone's hip, killing or knocking them out is unnecessary. And what makes it even more unnecessary is that other than small amounts of resources and claiming space, takedowns don't actually give you anything. There's no XP system in this game, which means you're not self-punished for ghosting to the extreme you would be in previous games. Also, starting identity as a thief stays with him and forms part of his gameplay identity throughout the rest of the game. You're never really going to stop stealing things. There's never a time pickpocketing becomes unimportant. Pickpocketing starts a quick time event you have to time right in order to steal something without being detected. On normal this is pretty easy, but on hard it's actually quite tight. There's a guaranteed pickpocket setting in the main menu, which I did eventually turn on because you always have to do this minigame if you leave it on, and the sheer amount of stealing you're going to be doing in this game meant I wanted to preserve more flow and not focus on something I felt didn't add to my experience.
You cannot be here.
Enough times. This is totally a personal decision. You might enjoy the satisfaction of nailing the steal timing every time. Since for quite a while, I did too. But this setting is also a consideration for creators who like to do more cinematic showcase content, where a flow-breaking minigame on the screen wouldn't be appreciated by the creator or viewer. So for that reason, I'm glad it can be disabled. Good quality of life feature. Knocking out and killing. Alright, Mirage is not an RPG. If you're in position to take someone down, you will take them down. Your takedown, where you're hit and late once you become hidden one and earn the right to carry one, will effortlessly eliminate everything you successfully interact with. This is what we wanted, and it's what we got. All the normal stealth game stuff you expect is in here. You can do 1-2s. You can assassinate people from the front. The game is very forgiving able to window on that, so you can do it aggressively if you pick your timing right. You can silently roll to reposition and get around people. And you can use tools to set up and perform chains that are reminiscent of your favorite Unity player's best clips. Tools supplement stealth to a massive extent. Start with a torch and 4 throwing knives, which can be used to kill people from stealth, interact with breakable stuff in the environment, and your combat AC or detonate spice bags from ancient smoke clouds. Also, you can use a torch as a distraction even before you unlock Noisemaker. Enemies will react to it very consistently. After killing your first main target, you'll be able to pick another tool to unlock, at which point I recommend smoke. It's the comfiest, highest value tool in the entire game. Once you've gotten that, the tool capacity skills from the middle tree will become unlockable, which I recommend picking up at least one of as early as you can. So you can either get Noisemaker or Sleep Dart now, depending on what you like to play. Get trapped, but I found it less useful to options. Tools have so much stealth in this game. And while they're not quite as necessary for success as they were in Unity, all your existing tool mindsets from that game, if you've already played it, transfer over here effortlessly, and you can replicate many fundamental tactics. It's got a bit of classic ACDNA too, though, most notably in how using the tool in combat makes enemies vulnerable to stabs. Sleep Dart a guy or smoke people in the middle of a fight, you can hit and blade them. Stealth layouts and level design is generally very strong and enjoyable. I can see myself playing and replaying this game a lot. For more layouts, I drop annual saves for than most of Origins, Odyssey, and Valhalla combined. And the game is short, so even playing complete runs repeatedly to get more of the stealth game will feel good. And some games are controlling info. If you have more than the enemy, you're stronger. The enemy has information on you, you're in danger. Assassin's Creed's brand of stealth is fast-paced and empowering, and one way to achieve that is your ego, which you can use to scout areas, objectives, and cards from above, as well as ego vision, which you can use to peer through walls. Mirage introduces marksman, which will shoot away your ego. I love this mechanic because it's so elegant. With minimal complexity, it introduces useful friction. Marksmen are just an archer. Mechanically, they don't do anything different from normal archers while you're on foot, but they will deny your ego if you try to fly near them, which robs you of easy knowledge, easy power. Because they're an archer, they're always up high, on rooftops, which means they're always in the hardest position for an on-foot assassin to reach. This immediately makes them a high-value target and forces you to engage with the coolest part of Assassin's Creed worlds, which is their verticality, the unique strength you have in these worlds that no one else does. When you reach and kill them, your ego becomes available. But you're also already above everything, so you breathe out, release that tension, and now you're the predator again. It feels great. And if I could have a very hard difficulty mode, one change I would make for it is to add more marksmen to the world, because I just love contending with these guys and being pressured by them even more. What's also cool is in addition to normal detection meters on guards, we do have area SSI again, which informs you when your general area's current investigation state. If your area SSI is red or solid yellow, you won't be able to talk to NPCs, so lose your pursuers before you try to interact. This way to see how hot space you're trying to currently is very helpful, since it lets you know whether you need to be careful about getting seen by guards or whether you can feel free to just walk right past them. Social stealth is back in Mirage in a big way, but the game won't typically push you into it unless you're lacking in progression.
Is it in a big way?
The main story and not care much about side content, you will likely engage with social stealth more because it gives you strength that you're not getting from the tools and skills you would have unlocked. Blending is actually a thing, and there are good opportunities for it if you look for them. Most main assassinations have opportunities to blend that are strong, and it becomes way more important if you're actually playing under high notoriety. You can use tokens, which are basically like the coins from John Wick, to bribe or pay certain special members of society to do a unique thing for you, like wiping your notoriety, pulling cards by playing music, giving you a movement blend group, or hiring mercs to fight people. These tokens are also used to bribe people for intel and basically shortcut certain investigations. How do you get them? Well, by being a thief or by being an assassin. You can either pickpocket them or get contracts. If a civilian is carrying a token, their hidden pouch will glow gold. So any pouches that are particularly shiny, you should grab those. You should be pickpocketing to do as much as possible anyway, just because early in the game, you're going to be pretty poor. Contracts, on the other hand, will actually tell you what kind of tokens they give, so you can look in your inventory, see what kind you're missing, and focus those. This makes getting tokens via working in the dark to serve the light a lot more intentional and strategic, since you actually know what you're getting. Although the cost is that contracts are a more involved task with more steps than just swiping people's wallets in the street, so they take longer. If you happen to get caught while stealing, or if people see you killing guards, you will gain notoriety. Killing someone where citizens can witness it will fill an entire notoriety level instantly, so Mirage will hard punish you for homicide in the public eye. Don't do it. If you must, kill inside smoke, from inside crowds, or into a hiding spot like a haystack or bench. That doesn't gain notoriety. Being notorious will pressure you in a way that feels very genuine, and a way I had to respect. Even a single level of notoriety will have citizens recognizing you, and if there are guards nearby, they'll start pointing you out. Guard, here, the wanted man. Guard, the man from the posters. Rogue, you dare show your face? I'm not even making up that. Last one. I feel seen. Thank you, Ubisoft. Not that I want to be seen. Let's get off the streets. Unless, of course, you're at notoriety too, in which case even the rooftops are no longer as safe as they were. At level 2, archers will be on roofs more often, and while this can provide fast nodes to work through using Assassin's Focus, it also means a space that was your domain is now a place you can't relax in anymore. The bright side is that killing roof archers doesn't raise notoriety since there were no civilians around as you do it. But if you don't manage your heat and bring it back down soon, you'll hit level 3, and this is when an elite enemy reminiscent of Falakis or mercenaries or freaking Mr. X starts to investigate for you, hunt you down, and probably murder the hell out of you. This guy is hard on hard, man. You can learn to kill him, but he has all your moves. I'm not even joking. You know how in AC1 the World 10 Force that you can assassinate as a collectible, they had the same moveset that Altair did and could do almost everything he could? This enemy type in Mirage is the same. He fights with a sword and dagger like you, he will parry you, he will dodge you, he will heal mid-combat. If you manage to kill him, you'll train all your notoriety to 0, but on hard, I recommend mostly just staying out of this dude's way and tearing down posters or bribing a herald. Speaking of the tokens you need to bribe heralds, I recommend maintaining some of each type whenever possible. It's not likely you'll run out of them once you build a surplus, but if you're ever in a situation where you need one and don't have it, you'll find yourself roaming Baghdad looking for people to steal from in case they have what you need. Though main objectives aren't locked behind these tokens, there's always another way to get something done, and we'll touch on that when I talk about main assassinations. Assassin's Focus is a mechanic unique to Bussin that became one of my favorite things in the entire game, for its sheer versatility and usefulness. The way the game seems to think you're supposed to use it is as a kill chain, targeting multiple guards and then executing a sequence of kills that distort the simulation and you have your positioning. You get Assassin's Focus after your first main assassination, and I'm here to gently encourage you to use it in ways other than chaining kills. If what you want is to kill a lot of guards, you already have something for that. It's called smoke bombs. Mirage is playing is for absolute fools. No assassins. What you should be using Focus for is movement and positioning, because you can use this ability from basically anywhere except water. You can even do it while jumping. This ability charges by getting normal stealth kills, whether that's with your hidden blade or with your tools. Both count and both give you this resource. You can use it to one-two at long range when you otherwise couldn't. You can use it to extend your air assassination distance because you can activate it in midair. You can use it to infiltrate compounds that are normally unclimbable or difficult to reach by climbing a tall building or ship mass, jumping over a guard, focusing in midair, and glitching. You can use it to save yourself from an oncoming detection that would have caught you off guard, or save yourself from big falls by warping to someone if you're about to die. You can use it to fence some guards at the beginning of the fight or skip a scripted combat section completely by killing everyone. You can use it to synergize with existing tools, having your kill chain and just as the smoke bomb lands on everyone else. This ability is genuinely insane. The skill gap between players who experiment with it and players who ignore it is going to be huge. You can get a lot of segments of it later in your skill tree, but starting out you're only going to have 2 or 3 and it doesn't go very fast. So unless you configure yourself hard to assassin focus, this ability is going to be situational, though very powerful. I think it's a genuinely brilliant addition to the game, and it makes this Assassin's Creed feel properly unique, since it's something no other game series has. Not even Rush Assassinators is interesting and multifaceted in terms of the weird, creative ways you can apply it to your gameplay. Still, if you hate it, I totally understand. You can choose to ignore it and you'll still be a monster installed using the rest of your tools. And a monster installed you want it to be, because main assassination is once again Assassin's Creed's equivalent of boss fights. Other games have boss fights. Assassin's Creed had main assassinations, where the boss the challenge is the very environment you're in, the way society reacts to you while you're in that space, and the influence that your target exerted on that society to prepare for you. The main assassinations in Mirage feature the same type of scout, find opportunities, alter the environment, access the target, kill them, and escape. That's reminiscent of AZ1, Unity Syndicate, and I guess the Siege of Paris. Closer to the recent games than AZ1 to be honest, but the influence is there. Before you access the main assassination, you need to investigate the target, find out who they are, where they're going to be. This typically starts with you visiting a bureau. But the cool thing about Mirage is that the Order of the Ancients or Cult of Cosmos screen zero for the past few games, that basically is the entire game. All of Mirage completely anchors around the investigation screen. It's so committed to the structure that the game doesn't even have a normal mission tracker or traditional quest log of any kind. You're not doing quests, you're doing investigations. You're not choosing your next mission, you're following a lead. Anything you need to actually keep track of is in your investigation screen. And even though you could call this a quest log but a little to the left, I found that it was a decent midpoint between something like AZ1 and what you get chasing down targets in Valhalla. I do wish it aired a little more toward the AZ1 vibe, but what's here is okay. Every target's investigations are anchored to an assassin bureau, and as you kill lower ranking members of the Order, you get info on higher ranking ones as well. Investigations can take the shape of anything, and some of them are cheeky callbacks to AZ1, which I found charming. In one of them you might have to kill some guards with another hidden one, which is helpful, similar to Altair's Informer investigations. In another you might have to race
I wonder if they're like I missed that there's like a thing.
the fact that, although basic
that
movement here has
wasn't
just enough that you could feasibly succeed or fail at this race, though it still feels a little ambitious considering there's still not that much you actually do with your hands. Of course, there's a bunch of sitting on benches and eavesdropping. It doesn't have to be a bench, you can eavesdrop from any hiding spot now. I just like to do it from benches because I'm a nostalgic bastard, throwing knife me. The black boxes themselves do concern me a little, as most of them seem to be more concerned with being big puzzles than with actually offering a huge amount of freedom on how to reach a target. The reason I say they concern me and I'm not actually outlining clearly whether they do or don't give that freedom is because I only played the game once and I didn't have the time to properly check my run through them again. As an example, in the first black box assassination, there might be multiple ways to draw the target, and once I miss something, you have to draw the target. You can't actually enter his quarters in a normal stealth kill on him like he's any other guard. If I'm right, this would be disappointing and actually make them weaker for replayability as main assassinations than something like Unity or Syndicate, just because the power of main assassinations in those games was the fact that you could go for all the environmental stuff, or you could choose to find your own approach and challenge the raw level design itself, treating it as just an extra hard stealth environment without engaging in contextual interaction. I don't actually know how viable that is in Mirage, so there's one thing about main assassinations that we still gotta find out as a community, it's that. But what I can tell you is that each one felt really good to figure out and finish my first time through them. When I say they're like puzzles, I really mean it. 2 of them in particular, one taking place in a bazaar and one inside a military garrison, almost felt like Dishonored levels with the scale and complexity of potential things I ended up doing to access my target. Again, whether they actually are like Dishonored levels or not beyond the first playthrough hinges on whether we actually can play them different. But on that first run, the people I was talking to, the side tasks I was doing to get access to different areas, like that felt really, really cool.
There we go.
The military garrison one, I can confirm, does actually give you a good amount of freedom to approach it however you want, and I think that one is also one of the hardest, largest missions in the entire game, so we'll probably see good content made on it eventually. Most black boxes involve you doing actual investigations, while the target is already in the area with you as well, and this provides a very immersive and tense feeling, since you're still gathering up the final bits of intel you need to strike.
There you
are.
Enjoy.
Crouching around in restricted areas, trying to pick up whatever info you're missing without
Let
destabilizing
us
the space
hope
around
she
you.
does
And if you
not
do,
come
running
up
away
with
and
any
coming back
more
always felt good.
tasks.
I rarely ever reloaded a save in Mirage. I
think
genuinely
I've
enjoyed the
created
making
a
mistake,
monster.
escaping, letting the area cool down, and coming back and trying to be even more careful. The 2 that stood out to me the most are the one in the bazaar and the one in the House of Wisdom, for their sheer atmosphere. I won't give any more context than that, but if you also want my opinion on the most interesting story arc of the entire game, the House of Wisdom one in the Southwest District has got to be it. Save that one for later. Don't rush it.
The
Approach it with
book
good
is in
tools
your
and
room.
enjoy the Assassin's Creed
Now,
concepts. Mechanically, the bazaar one and the garrison one.
Are my eyes bigger?
huge. Makira, I need the key.
This potion gives you confidence. I feel like I could take on the world.
Yes, I am familiar with this potion. We had a bargain, Makira. The key. Now.
Wait, you have to return the potion to Nasreen. If Farah finds out it's gone, she'll be furious. Then the key is yours, I swear.
Fine. Drink some water while I am gone, will you please? This is the last time, Basim. Put your foot down.
They aren't just a guy copy pasted somewhere in the wilderness. They've got specific narrative context around them in the areas they're in, make your job difficult in distinct ways. I remember the bazaar, the garrison, the House of Wisdom, and the palace. I don't remember a single target I killed in Odyssey, and I can only recall 2 or 3 from all of Valhalla. It's not AC1. It's not by Unity. Times I wish it was. But overall, I do remember shoving my hidden blade into these people. And when I look back on it, I think,
you belong.
yep, that's Assassin's Creed.
The
Exploration
potion is
of
put
origins and
back.
world puzzles of Valhalla.
All is right in the world. Now I will get that key from Makira. I have to pry it from her hands.
I hate to be that guy, but I'm sorry. Assassin's Creed just
It
works
is
better
done.
inside a city.
I am done.
Thank you. Funny, I have a bit of a headache. What happens now?
You give me the key.
Oh, right.
You do not have it. You are afraid of Qabiha. What?
No. Her star is fallen. They all say it. It's just, I was having fun. Here it is.
Finally. Now to find my answers.
feels more natural. It especially works because it again ties back to Dawson's identity as a thief. You're not always a hidden one. You still got some burgling instincts in you, and breaking into people's houses to grab their shit is a devious feeling. It helps there isn't an overload of things to collect in this game. For reference, remember when I said 100%
I
Mirage
remember
days?
this
It only took me a single
perfume.
day, one 10-hour session
I
to wipe the
smelled it
entire
in the
map all at
bazaar,
once completely.
and
When was the last time
perhaps
you
in
did
the
that? Like,
harem.
Revelations, maybe? This game is
But
tight,
on
and
who?
it's a tiny focused game, and even the map content doesn't waste your time. If you're the kind of player who likes to run around, stealth
The
guards, turn on
hairpin.
podcast, and relax while tidying up icons, but you're also the kind of player who got trained and exhausted by that in Odyssey and Valhalla,
When
this
did
game's high content is
Qabiha
fired
get it?
Of course, there's also a cartographer in Baghdad's core and central district that you can go visit and buy maps from to reveal the location of certain things. What helps is that not every kind of chest is actually marked, and the game doesn't treat it as important or even track it in its location cards. For instance, the only kind of chest the game actually cares about are gear chests, things that give you either a weapon, a rope, or an upgrade blueprint. There are other chests which are traditionally picked up that have upgrade materials in them. The game doesn't care whether you get those or not. They're solely there for you to help your upgrade economy. Since you can buy whatever is in them, and also their way of making a lot of money, you can choose to ignore some of them and don't have to go out of your way to pick up every single one. By the way, if you want to make money, go to the bazaar. There's a ton of people there.
Yet
Some of them
for
pretty
its
rich. Some of them got.
grandeur,
There's
the
also a type of
rooms
like
At the end of the game,
all
gonna have us going back to Alamo and
things
having to
look to
protect
be
it or
missing,
something.
including Qabiha herself.
which again pushes the thief identity Dawson starts as. Pickpocketing artifacts off people's hips that you would give to your buddy to leash and eventually gives you
What
a
is
clothing
this?
skin.
What did you give her?
She always drank from it. She asked me to give it to her. It's harmless.
You call this harmless, Nasreen?
You should go. Now, give me the key.
What happened to her?
Me. You really shouldn't have left me alone with that flask.
I'll search the rooms. You with me.
Boss.
I did nothing.
Oh, he lived
I
for a
did
long
not
time.
hurt her.
He's alive back here.
What did you do?
Relax. No one is looking at us.
Again?
They will be far too busy with the book they find in Nasreen's room.
Nasreen's room.
The garden and its mysteries. Nothing bawdy, just a study of native herbs, their properties medicinal, poisonous, cosmetic. Belladonna, deadly nightshade. It does make the eyes look lovely in small doses. Shame I had to waste it all on her. What? You saw them? Farah and Nasreen, dripping poison in everyone's ear, spreading lies and rumors about my mistress.
Qabiha.
One dead, the other disgraced. No one will hear them now.
Yes, I'La. What are you?
Loyal. In Qabiha's absence, I defend her throne from those who would supplant her.
Her office is empty. She has abandoned you, Makira. You serve a faithless mistress.
She will return from the palace when the danger has passed.
You really should not have told me that.
It makes no difference. You will never find her. Now, play nice. There are children present. Nice uniform, by the way. Suits you.
Okay.
I can do nothing for Farah. But if Qabiha is the head of the Order, I could still spare those who have yet to suffer at her hands.
Okay, so... Team watching this video.
And what the kind of artifacts you're thinking of? Just normal stuff.
I don't know why I didn't
Also
turn
probably
off the
mysterious
mic
shards
for
or work
this,
of the ancient
but
members that just show in the world. Those are the kind of artifacts you're thinking of, and they unlock something special, somewhere special, once you get enough of them. I don't want to say too much about this, but I will say that unlike previous games where you had to get all of them to unlock one special thing, there are 3 special things to unlock. Each of them costs a different amount of shards, either 2, 3, or 5, and you can choose to unlock those things in any order you want. I went for the dagger first. You should go for the dagger first. Trust me, on hard it helped a lot. Another collectible I appreciated were historical sites, which look a little like animus glitches. You just quickly clear away when you interact with them, and it adds info about aspects of Baghdad to your database. The database in this game is actually pretty cool. It has a lot of cool historical info that doesn't always just talk about the location. It mentions things like hospitals, the justice system, the kinds of wars that led to the founding and changing of who controlled the city. Cool stuff like that. If you like the historical side of Assassin's Creed, you'll probably enjoy reading those entries. At a certain point, I stopped reading them just because I wanted to get on with playing the game. But yeah, there's a lot of cool historical information there if that's what you're into. I already talked about the investigation screen earlier, but I will reiterate that because the entire game's progress is fed through the system, it basically makes you feel like a detective pretty much at all times. You can track an investigation lead from the screen and see its general location in the world, where you can go and follow up on it. In the end, if you don't really do your own thinking and reflecting and mindlessly track a lead so you can run to where it is instead of reading whatever clues are in that screen, it can end up feeling like a normal objective marker, which is a bit of a shame. But overall, I found myself appreciating the approach they took here, and if nothing else, at least they trust doing missions even Assassin's Creed flavoring, which is a lot better than not doing that. Contracts are something you can accept from Contract Board and in Bureau. There is a finite amount of them in the game. They do not infinitely generate, and new ones get unlocked in waves, either by finishing previous ones or by reaching points in the main story. There's a good amount of them, but not an overwhelming amount. And if you don't care to do all of them, I just recommend you do the ones that give skill points, since there is no XP system, which means there's no way to grind skills in this game. You only get skill points for doing tasks, and finishing contracts that give skill points is one of the quickest ways to get them early on, aside from killing main targets. Tales of Baghdad are basically like Paris stories or world events. There's not a lot of them, I only remember like 5 or 6, but each one's pretty unique. If you see one of these, do it because they'll be useful one too. So what are we doing with these skill points? Skills and Mirage split into 3 trees that you can respect for free anytime you want. This is a big deal because, as I said, you can't grind for skills, so being able to change what your skills are is important, otherwise you'd be stuck with whatever you chose. In a system that doesn't make it easy to get more. A good example for me early on was I got the kick skill, which lets me displace an enemy after parrying, and use it in some fights in a short
house.
Bought with my generosity!
Bought by my genius.
But yeah, again, like, I don't know how to approach this
For
review.
tokens, favors, and personal dedications,
Just because,
you may
like-
find Sayyida Arib in the garden after her recital. Good day.
You must be her patron. It is an honor, Sayyidi. If I may, I seek a private audience with the poetess.
Do you?
I have been moved beyond words by her words. Symmetry of sky and sea. I only wish to express my sincere admiration.
Pretty words. Nearly as pretty as hers. And just as false. We both know what mask she wears, don't we?
Mask, Sayyidi.
Enough, Sayyidi.
Well, I'm worrying about
I
where
know
I'm
what you
at,
are,
costume.
and I know why
I
you've
forgot
come.
about that.
You think I haven't seen you skulking in the shadows. She's no longer party to your plots. Your secret meetings, your foolish nicknames. I have scrubbed her clean of them.
For I have set a watch on her door. My men dog her recitals. Every letter she's had of you I have shredded or sent back.
Sent back?
You will find them piled at the Postal Bureau. Burn them. Bury them. Do what you will. You can choke on them for all I care.
So... yeah, I really don't care. What was the thing I was gonna do? This. Change outfit. And yeah, I'll start the video again.
Perhaps it's very likely you'll find most of these useful or find a way to make them useful for your playstyle. Tool modding is a massive part of customization, and I do expect different kinds of players to need to work tool mods to suit their playstyle. I probably ran over use Fire Smoke, for example.
But so-
another player might. In fact, when I spoke to other players
I
who
need
had
to
early
get into
access to
his
the game,
build.
their tool sets were actually completely different from mine. They found success playing their way. I found success playing mine, but both of us felt in control of our
Foolish
gameplay. Using the sets we
nicknames,
made.
secret
If there's one item I can
meetings.
definitely expect from me moving forward, it's going to be
The
this kind of video
patron
and
may
guide
have
about
thought
tools,
me a
every
member
single
of the
different tool
Order of
combination,
the
and different things we
Ancients.
can do with them.
The
Dude,
pile
this system
of
is
letters
insane.
at the
Tools are
Postal
just
Bureau may
crazy.
reveal more.
Gear is a thing in this game, and it's very basic and simple.
Let us
100
see
Assassin's
what
Creed players
mask
enjoy
you
something
wear,
that that said, what you
poetess.
choose to use still matters and still lets you lean into a playstyle. I hesitate to color the build because it's not complex enough for that, but if you engage with the system, you'll be more
Oh,
efficient.
is that really all I had to do?
It's all have perks, and these perks can supplement some mechanics.
Okay,
Simple
well,
and
that
real.
was
I ended up settling on a dagger that gave me
I
life stealing
clicked
every 5
on
attacks,
server.
a sword that poisoned an enemy every 5 attacks, and robes that gave more assassin focus per stealth kill. Equipment disfound in gear chests marked around the world, so definitely pick those up when you see them, and hope you don't get an upgrade schematic for something you don't care about. Those upgrade schematics are required to upgrade a piece of gear at a blacksmith, and upgrading things is itself simple. Every item has 3 tiers. It gets better at each one. Outfits have their associated mechanic like takedown noise
Oh, my
resistance.
internet
Improve every tier.
seems
Weapons, on the other hand, have
pretty
their perks
bad
the same,
right
but
now.
damage increases. Simple. There are also cosmetics. Costumes go over your actual outfit, so their skins you
Because
can wear while still
the
retaining your desired perks. Talismans are the
upload
little keychain that dangles on your back.
keeps
You can actually
canceling
unequip these completely if you want your back to be clean. Dyes are attached to specific outfits, which will disappoint some players who want to dye things, anything. And different skins for your mount or eagle you can get and exchange at stables. Finally, you can also transmog your weapons to look like a different weapon. Just tab over to that at any blacksmith. Simple stuff, but works alright for the scale game that it is. I'll touch on the story briefly because there are players better suited to this than me. I spent so much time focusing on gameplay.
Enigma.
Assassin's Creed Mirage has no present-day story to speak of. None. You get an opening monologue by William Miles, but beyond that, you will not even get a single cutscene. Not even something at the end. So if what you want is something that actually pushes the Assassin's Creed universe forward, this is not the game you're looking for. It's a game that fills in the unknown space of the early years of Boston's life, and that's about it. It does, however, have a fair bit of first civilization story, because, I mean, of course, if you've kept up with Assassin's Creed as a universe, you already know this has to be the case. Memory corridors do exist in the game, first of all, for major targets, but not every target you kill gets one, only the properly important ones, and they don't actually give you much information, but they do make you question what you're doing, just not quite the way that Altair learned to question Alba Weller. Instead, the way these targets press on Boston's mind is very unique to something he has in common with them. After all, the Order of the Ancients are not Templars. Templars, later in Assassin's Creed's timeline, would collect pieces of Eden and use technology as a means to an end, because it helped them achieve societal control. The Order of the Ancients, meanwhile, are the inverse. They only really care about societal control insofar as it grants them easier access to those artifacts, to those pieces of Eden. Why? Well, as all of us who play Valhalla know, it's because the Order of the Ancients is effectively the spiritual precursor to the instruments of the First Will, not just the Templar Order. They worship the First Civilization, they revere them, they hold sacred objects and ideologies that associate with them. How this has to Boston, I won't mention here. If you know, you know, and if you don't know, you should play the game and probably watch Valhalla's cutscenes before you do. Boston starts as a street thief with ideals of making the world a better place, since he can see the misery of people around him. His best friend, Mihal, is someone who doesn't really vibe with this idea of selflessness. She's also a thief, and she lives in the same world that he does, but she's quick to point out, noble ideas don't put food on the table. They gotta eat, and the hidden ones seem to be a bit cheap in terms of how much they pay people. They basically got that I'll pay you an exposure mindset that drives all my artist friends crazy. He's eager to prove himself to the hidden ones, though, because he genuinely thinks working for them is his best chance of becoming something more than he is. And although Mihal wishes he'd be more realistic, she loves him and cares for her friend, so she stays by his side. One of my favorite things about Mirage's story is the bond between Basim and Mihal. She's there for him in a way no one else else really is. The way Bossum describes her either in the database or her icon in the investigation screen when she asks him for help with her own life even after he becomes a hidden one, he says that he and Nihal share a bond like no other. I know what it's like to have a connection like that, something that you can't really describe. What is she? A friend? A sister? A girlfriend? A rival? Neither of them know, and they wouldn't be able to tell you. They just love each other, and they matter to each other. This kind of unique, special bond really resonates with me at this point in my life, and the times they fight and are worried they might not reconcile were moments that kind of devastated me and really hurt. Roshan, Bossum's mentor, is also cool as hell. Honestly, at times I kind of wish this was her game, and I'm never gonna stop hoping she gets one. Her voice provided by Shohreh Aghdashloo is incredible, but I didn't need to tell you that. Everyone who's heard her in anything already knows. I found a lot of wisdom in Roshan's words and speeches, and the way she guides and trains Bossum was something I missed from Assassin's Creed for many years. A mentor like that is necessary when you're going to be killing tyrants controlling society from the shadows. A few Order members particularly impressed me, but in my experience I found most of the targets in this game failed to emotionally resonate in a way that some in previous games did. I wanted to hate these people, but I didn't actually end up feeling that much for them. I killed them because it was my job to kill them, which I suppose is actually fitting for the narrative context. You are just a hidden one doing your job. Still, I would have definitely enjoyed myself more if I had more personal reasons to knife these guys in the throat. AC-1's Templars, despicable, whose graves I would happily spit on, these guys are definitely not. There are some other characters I'll leave you to discover for yourself. I think Ali is particularly interesting in the way he challenges and verbally spars with Bossum, as well as his eagerness for open combat. But one character that kept me haunted for the entire game was the genie that Bossum sees in his nightmarish visions. A lot of players have some theories about what this thing actually is before release, and while I'm not going to confirm or deny anything, I will say it appears in memory corridors a hell of a lot. Bossum is the only person who sees it, and if you've already played Valhalla, we kind of know what's going on here. Still, I found Mirage's ending pretty cool, and if you're able to avoid spoilers, please do. The exact specifics of what happens are interesting enough that I recommend seeing it for yourself. One aspect of the story that did let me down a little is something that other players may or may not agree with. I've said before that Valhalla's Bossum is the Assassin's Creed character I emotionally resonate with the most since Altair. This is true, but Mirage's Bossum failed to engage me in that same way. I didn't see as much of myself in this younger man. I didn't relate to him the way that Valhalla's Bossum so resonated with me. I understand that he hasn't lived through the experiences that would change him to be that fascinating character just yet, and that he's still in the process of becoming himself. But if there's a single criticism I have to give for the story, it's that I kind of wish Bossum felt a little bit more like his Valhalla self, but I could feel that shine through more often than it did. By the end of the game, he does get there, but then it gave me the sense that, well, now that this character has finally become so interesting, the person I relate to, the game is basically over. I didn't really get to be in the hooded robes of the Bossum that made me think, wow, this character is solely okay. Still, there are elements of this younger rogue story that I did resonate with and enjoy, particularly his desire to strike at tyranny, his wish to understand himself and find out who he actually wants to be, the way he both draws on and challenges those around him who have something to teach him, and his incredibly close relationship with Nihal, who always has his back, more than a friend, more than a sister, but something truly unique. That did pull on my heart several times, and I think their bond is the best part of Bossum's story.
I will go to
me,
the
tight pacing of Assassin's Creed Mirage does work to its benefit, and the atmosphere and feel of the world enhances it greatly. I yearn to be back in this Middle Eastern setting for a long time, since to me this is basically what Assassin's Creed always was to me atmospherically, and it's about time we get to experience that vibe again. This story didn't make me as emotional as my favorite ones in the series, and I did wish it would pierce my heart more than it did, but as a companion to the incredible gameplay and tight, short, focused narrative that I'll be playing again and again to understand more of and think about interesting details, I mean, I can't really complain about that. It doesn't do much to push the Assassin's Creed universe forward, but it also doesn't do anything to damage it, which I, and many other AC fans, will be very thankful for. I'm going to take a moment to discuss replayability. Mirage has absolutely no in-game mission replay options of any kind, and it doesn't have
Desert, Cobra, Dove, all shapes and humors will I embrace.
Assassinations. There aren't any kind of challenge maps you can repeat to get higher scores or better times. There's nothing like that. What this means is that once you're finished the game's content and have played there is literally nothing to do.
Have we met?
Nothing. This is a weakness of Mirage.
Come,
a genuine
don't be
weakness,
shy.
an actual negative
I
aspect of it
rarely
that
bite,
can
and I
straight up say,
never
this is
leave
bad and it
marks.
needs to be better. In shorter Assassin's Creed games, this is solved by being able to replay memories from your progress tracker. In longer Assassin's Creed games,
It
this is not an issue.
seems there's no
If you're saying
privacy
you're
in
not
the
going to finish
public
it all anyway,
eye.
not for a long time. But I 100%
How
Mirage in
came
30
you by
hours,
that letter?
and my first save has
Who put you up to
nothing
this?
to do. Nothing to use my
I
last
work
one.
in the dark
I have these
to
sick
serve
master
the
assassins,
light.
and I basically have to roam through an empty world because I had the audacity
I've
to enjoy
met
too
the
much
men
and
who
finish everything that
serve
became
the
available.
light. It seems its glare oft
Manual
leaves
sequence
them
on the internet.
blind. Are your masters so blinkered and bumbling?
You were warned, you son of a dog. Come, Arib. We will set no tongues to wagging here.
Yours is the tongue that will not still itself, even when I beg for silence.
You spurn the counsel of he who raised you, and without whom you'd still be nothing.
I raised myself. I authored myself. I have written myself into history. You are banished from my pages. Now be gone.
How can I leave you to wolves such as these? You're a woman alone, unarmed.
Words are weapons enough for me.
But it needs something.
Then let us see what defense they offer. Take her.
There is somewhere the Sayyida needs to be. And you are
that is when the game
delaying
becomes the
her.
most interesting. That is when you have
It
everything at
seems
your
that
disposal.
words
And if you're the kind of
can
player like me who
summon
does everything as soon as you can, then you have nothing to do. Before I close out this video, I'll
We
say I'll
will
probably
need to
just
make
use
this
quite a
quick.
bit over the following days.
Time to die!
That's right, Paul. Arib has left for her secret meeting. I must hurry. The letter commanded Athalam to leave the garden and follow the mouse. Perhaps Arib is not lost to me yet. How far will the fox flee?
How far is this up there? 25 minutes. Okay.
Yet another painted mouse.
Oh, actually, that's the mouse. So does it mean it's in the opposite direction? Is that how it works?
Go away!
I'm so hungry, I should have eaten at some point. I'll probably stop and do that after this episode.
لكنها حصرية بعض الشيء ولك تعرف
I don't get how this functions.
Stop, you!
Fuck off, really?
أيها الأبله اللعين كن مع ذلك هل فقدت صوابك؟
The things that pass for art these days.
Where is this next one?
لا تتمادى!
Another crumb to follow. I am growing tired of this chase.
ثم سأجلس لمراقبة
Where am I going, dude? So it's around here somewhere. Here.
Not again.
أحتاج إلى القناة لصناعة الخزف ولكن
You should bring him before the Medallion Court.
But he thinks only of my
Shouldn't he listen to a
reputation,
lot of people?
Sarah.
It's official.
To safeguard success, I must be palatable,
Wanted is a fucking
discreet.
ad from Kroger.
He fears I am too proud.
You? Never.
I write that love is feral and free, unbound by stricture or statute. Should I not practice what I publish?
Practice makes perfect. It also makes enemies.
So be it. But let me choose them. Courtiers, caliphs, patrons, partners. So many men have tried to decide my enemies. And friends. Though Allah knows I once chose poorly.
He hid himself well. And the poet needs patrons. Even one so great as Al-Talab.
Well, I have my pick.
Good. There's troubled times ahead.
I will be fine. I have survived 6 caliphs. I will survive...
6 more.
Don't worry, Sarah. I'll kiss the rings I need to kiss, but I will not be bound again. Not by anyone.
Secret meetings, coded names. There is no trace of the Order here. Still, she has her pick of patrons. Maybe the head of the Order is not Harib herself, but an admirer. I have seen enough from my 3 suspects.
Okay.
Time to seek Roshan's counsel and end.
Yeah, we know who the fucking thing is. Don't we? Like, weren't we literally told that in the last mission? Alright, one final council. And that's head of the snake, or not, whatever that mission was called, where we go here. And that's when we can get the last book. And then, yeah, then we're in the end game. Okay, what do I want to do here? Oh, she's not in a, okay. Is there no viewpoint anywhere near there? That's minorly annoying.
For all.
Alright, I mean, I guess we'll end here. We're past 30, right? Yeah, okay. So I'll probably warm up my lunch, and then we'll continue on. And again, I think we can finish this in less than 2... Like, I mean, there's only 4 missions left, I believe. There's this, which is, I'm assuming is just a cutscene of talking to her. There's the actual assassination, and then there's 2 missions after that. Which I don't fully know what those are. I assume it has something to do with his friend, right? He's like, she's been out of the picture. Unless, like, that literally just goes nowhere. Which would not shock me. Yeah, because she's not done. He's not done because we don't have the things. But, like, this should be done if... Yeah, so, like, I assume it has something to do with her. And I assume it's going to have to do with, like, his awakening as Loki and stuff, right? Anyway, we'll end here. Next episode, continue on for now. Thank you for watching.